So if you can, as we discussed, you can see that agile development is not something totally, new beast to work on, something totally out of the world. It's not. It actually is. You're trying to still develop the same product. It's like it is like, for example, if you're doing a business has been done over the last few centuries, even back in 1600s, and perhaps before that it was barter system, and in the early stages of our evolution, where we didn't have this concept of currency. We used to actually barter. So depending on the value of the item, we used to exchange the items, right? For example, one cow could give us, if I give you a cow, you might give me 10 to 20 different goats or something like that. So you still are kind of having the same kind of a barter exchanging depending on the value of that item back in those days. But now in the last few centuries it's changed, but then you still have the concept of a business as an entity where you have an offer, where you have got a need, which is the customer side, and then the supplier side or the vendor has got the product or the offering that would address the need. And because I'm taking that product and I'm giving you something back, it's an exchange. In exchange of the value, I'm giving you something like a cash right now. It was cash before. Now, if you see, same concept, but the way that you actually try and do that, try and address that need. Nowadays, we've got the cards now. It's all about card money now, right? So there's no credit cards and the virtual money. It's not, you don't have that, you still have got the paper and cash money now. It's in vogue, but then it's reducing day by day. But still the concept is same. Even banking, the debit and the credit, it's still the same. You still have got one transaction, one has to debit, the other account has got to be credited. So that completes the transaction. It's still the same. Just that the way it is done, the way it is actually kind of done is different as we progressed through the time. And the same with agile development. The activities still remain the same. You still need to plan. So you still need to plan, you still need to estimate. We were discussing the estimation the other day in that course, and the deep dive into software estimation. We still need to estimate. We still have to come up with the size, the effort, the cost. We still have to do that in agile as well. It's not something new that we're doing. We still have to plan in agile. It's like in waterfall, we still have got to plan. We still have got to work on the requirements. If we don't know what we're trying to develop, what we can work on that? How can we work on anything without any clear idea what it is supposed to do? And that's where the requirements still need that. We still need requirements. We still need the design and development, right? Without development, without actually working on this, without coding, without actually having a design of that, how can we even deliver something? So you still have got that design development. You still have got the release management. You still have got quality assurance. We need to still test whether it is working or not, right? So just because we've got agile doesn't mean it's a magic wand with a swoosh. You actually got something fantastic created out of thin air. It's not like that. Agile is still, you're doing the same set of activities. You've got to do the same set of activities, perhaps in a different way. And how that is changed with agile, how each of these activities has changed with agile, we'll just have a look about it now. And then we have the same kind of team structure. We still have developers doing the code. I mean, thankfully, we don't have the robots yet trying to do the coding and taking our jobs, like analysis. And they say that robots can actually code much better than human beings. In fact, in about 20, 30 years, we'll not have developers, will not have testers. Yeah, of course, we've already got automation testing. So some of the testers might not be required. Crazy. In the next 30 years. Thankfully, you know what? Analysts, the business analysts are still required in the next 30 years, because what we do, my kind of role will still be relevant after 30 years. I'm not sure if I'm still alive then, but that's a good news. So we still have got some of these roles still needed, right? The team structure, we need to have managers. So you don't call project managers now, we call them as facilitators, which is what is a Scrum Master. The product owner is a new term, but then what they're doing is basically being the bridge between the business and the technology, right? The product owner is a new term. There are new roles, there are new ways of doing things, but then it's still the core. At the core of it, it's still the same. The communication is different. Previously, we used to have, okay, anyways, we're going to discuss each of them in detail, so we'll come to know. let's discuss the planning and estimation. What is different with Agile? You've got relative estimation with Agile. So we discussed in the Agile mode, some of you have been there last week. No, it was just 3 days ago. So we're talking about how estimation has turned to be relative with Agile modes. Still need to estimate the size, estimate the effort, and the resources required to do the work and the cost involved. You still do that, but then the way you do that is turned to be relative more nowadays. So it's all the small, medium, large, whether you're using t-shirt sizing or whether you're using planning poker, you're using story points as opposed to the use case points before, function points. You use source lines of code before in the waterfall. You used a lot of those different kinds of Delphi, wideband Delphi method. But nowadays we're using story points, user story points, and the planning pokers and the t-shirt sizing. These are the ways that we're still doing the same thing, but the way that you're doing is different. Now we're calling it as velocity, the team velocity. Previously it used to be called as productivity. So so fundamentally the concept remains the same. We still need to estimate, but how we're doing that changed. The tools, technologies, the techniques might have changed, but still at the heart of this, we still need to do the estimation. We still need to do the planning with Agile. We'll